Welcome to Leading Live by Leading with Success. This is a talk session on leadership, well-being, and digital learning. I'm Bonnie, founder of Leading with Success.
I'm Randy Panganiban, a training consultant from Leading with Success.
And we are your hosts. Today's episode of Leading Live is in partnership with Value Pod Productions. And for today's episode, we've invited the founder of Up app, and he has been scaling and growing Up app in Southeast Asia and is currently in Vietnam in Ho Chi Minh as we speak. So we are streaming live from Manila and Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam at the same time right now. Let's all welcome Paul Espinas. Welcome, Paul.
Hello, Miss Bonnie. Hello, Sir
Welcome.
Randy. Thank you for having me first and foremost. You two look great. This is my second webinar for the day. And as you said, I'm here in Ho Chi Minh City. So thank you very much for having me today. Hello to everyone who's watching this live. Thank you for deciding to spend your Saturday afternoon with us.
Thank you. Yes, it's a great Saturday afternoon and the last Saturday of June. All right.
Oh.
And yes, it is. It's mid-year and we're going over to the
Second half of the year.
I know. Oh, wow, 2020. You're over soon. Yes, great news 2021. Okay. All right. So, Paul, can you introduce yourself for all our audience and those who are going to watch the replay?
All right. So I'm here right now in Ho Chi Minh City. So as Ms. Bonnie said, I'm running Up Technologies. We are actually a tech company that aims to improve employee experience and well-being with the use of innovation and technology. So we create mobile apps, websites, and different platforms to really facilitate improving experiences of people in the workplace. We are currently present in a couple of countries in Southeast Asia and in Dubai and in France. So yeah, that's what we do. Excited to be here.
Thank you, Paul. And let's go right straight ahead to what Leading with Success is all about. It's all about leaders. And we'd like to know, our first question is for you, what makes a great leader?
Leadership for me is an evolving definition. I feel like just like every other definitions we have in life, it changes as we get more experiences, as we engage with more people and different stakeholders. I started being a leader from a student organization, moving towards managing a team, and now managing a company and different stakeholders. So initially, when I first opened the company, I thought a great leader is a great chess player. Knowing, strategy, knowing when to move your pawn, your rook, and saving the queen, most importantly. But then recently, when all these things happened, I realized that a leader is actually a great puzzle player with zero expectations on the ending, just enjoying really putting the puzzles together. And I feel like leadership in my perspective is having the internal team in place, but at the same time taking into consideration outside factors. And I think a lot of leaders didn't really see what's coming. So I think this is where I'm coming from in terms of my definition of what a good leader is: a good puzzle player.
A good puzzle there. I love that. Just enjoying putting the puzzle pieces together, no expectations. That's an amazing definition. I love that so much. All right, let's go to, my next question is all about, all digital. Remember when there was a time when we knock on HR's door, we knock on the CEO's door and say, we have a digital offering, and everyone say, no, not really. We're not really ready for digital right now. We don't really need digital at the moment. We're happy with live events, we're training. We really need the personal interaction. And then COVID happened. And we're all forced inside our homes. And now we're all forced to go into full digital training. Everything needs to be fully digital. What a time. What a time to live in this time. When we were knocking on all the companies store and we're saying, can we digital, can we do a digital transformation of your company? And they would say, no, not really needed right now. And then COVID happened. And now everything is digital. And I started online training in 2017. And Randy over here is also our online training. He has been tapped to do online training for across the country for teachers, right? And you are our expert in Southeast Asia for digital training with UpUp app. So can you tell us about that experience where we're all forced now due to the pandemic, especially in the leadership, the HR field, the CEOs and the HRs that you talk to? How do they feel now about digital training?
Right. A quick background about the company. I was handling the like a job portal here in Vietnam. So we're basically juggling 80,000 companies on the platform. You have 8 million job seekers coming in the platform, applying jobs on a regular basis. And I was handling the marketing department there, really onboarding, applicants online, and then also people making companies, post jobs online. It was taken in the recruitment industry. It was normal. 2010s, 2017. It's a normal practice. But then when we started asking our key accounts, we were asking what is the biggest pain point for you now in terms of people management, in terms of human resources. The most common demand was employee engagement, because back then there was the starting of influx of millennials coming into the workplace. The mentality is different, the behavior is very Twitter. So after 5 years in the company, I thought, you know what, I'm one of them. I'm one of the millennials. So I'm 31 years old, and I felt like I need to do something to address this change in behavior in the workplace. So I decided to open up technologies with the aim of, making our experiences in the office much better as professionals. But when we started running the business, as you said, we started knocking on companies' doors, and they were like, "Why do we need an remote work management platform?" I'm like, but we're okay. Like, all right. So we had a lot of no's, but we also had a lot of big yeses. We had insurances, we had biggest banks. These are companies who knew what was coming. These were the companies who had a team who are only focused on future proofing their processes and their systems. So we had big yeses, but we had a lot of no's, a lot of no's. And then when the lockdown happened, we get a lot of callbacks and say, "Hey, Paul, now we are ready to talk." So for us internally, we didn't have a shock in terms of the processes, but our clients, it was a difficult 2 years to position the value of digitizing, management and training.
Oh, that's a lot of years, 2 years. So I
Yes,
guess you're right. Yeah. When you start a business, you really need to work on it for 2 years. You
That's
don't
right.
give up on the first 6 months. So what makes an amazing digital learning experience?
digital learning experience for me is like every experience that we create. So my background is marketing, as I mentioned earlier. So usually we map out the brand experience from creating the visuals all the way to where these visuals will be shown, etc. It's very similar with um, creating an immersive, effective, and engaging digital learning experience. But first and foremost, it always begins with setting the right objectives. In our case, most importantly, because we're working with companies, we need to validate the return on investment. I
Return.
always, yes, I always tell my team we are working with four stakeholders. You're working with the business owners and the CEOs. You're working with the HR directors, the team leaders, and then of course the employees. Each person has different pain point, but the decision maker's pain point or key demand is what is my return on investment for that training initiative. It's either in person or is it in digital, but return on investment. So that's the first thing that we make sure is in place, and then we map it out. Okay, based on that objective, based on that return on investment, what are the objectives for the training and development? And then we pinpoint how to make each touch point, each moment, as we call it, interesting, engaging, and most importantly, effective, that it will contribute to the end goal of the training program.
I like
So,
that.
yeah, nice.
Go ahead,
So
Randy.
since since we're talking about digital learning, right? So we're here in the Philippines, and as you know, the government has their own plans in terms of digital learning. But in a sense, I can feel that there's a sense of hesitance around the country on are we ready yet? And can you share something about that, Paul?
Readiness comes in different fronts. I think a very good friend of mine is consulting ADB, and then when they do readiness assessment, they of course identify different stakeholders. Is it the parents? Is it the kids? Is it
Mhm.
the faculty of the schools? Is it the school
Equipment,
management?
maybe.
Right, and that also technology is a huge factor on that side of things. But first, let me commend the government for finally having this initiative and saying we have to do this. That is a big step. Whether we recognize that or not, it is worth noting that the government is saying it's about time that we plan ahead on either blended learning or digital learning side of things. So, going back to the question, I think the key there is identifying all the stakeholders. As I said, a leader is a puzzle player. So you won't be able to put the puzzles together if you don't know the pieces, right? So really looking into that piece and where that fits in. What's the pain point of a parent? What's the pain point of the student? And
Exactly.
I think working together, the private sector, I'm calling all people who are working in the private sector, the government, the public sector, and of course the academe to work together and address these pain points. This It's very important that knowing each of the stakeholders and addressing them separately and putting them together will have an effective distance learning program for Filipinos nationwide.
Pain
That's
points.
yeah, that's one of the parts of the trainings that I do actually nationwide.
Mm. I'm
Yeah.
glad that I I'm glad that I answered that correctly.
Yes.
Pain points. So, and you also said that a good digital learning experience always starts with why, right?
Mhm.
Start with why. Start with what are your objectives so that you can meet your end goals. And for a CEO, the pain point is, well, what is my return on this investment? So
Yes.
if you want to offer any training for your company, and thank you for that. So now we know at Leading with Success, we will now ask, what will be the return of investment, right, Randy, if we
That's
present
right.
out training to the CEOs and the HR heads and procurement? So like what we said, if that's what you said, what's the first step in creating a digital learning experience? Can you tell me about an experience in Vietnam? How you grounded your roots in Southeast Asia? Because I know you're Filipino, but then you're now all over Southeast Asia as a founder. You were able to manage to grow and scale up in 2 years time across Southeast Asia, and you have a lot. You have employees that are not Filipinos. Can you tell us all about that? Because that is highly interesting for everyone who wants to be leaders, for everyone who wants to expand through Southeast Asia.
There are a couple of things needed to be considered. First and foremost, the legalities of the structure of the organization. In Vietnam, for example, there's only a number of foreign employees that you can have compared to
There's a
the.
quota. There's a quota.
Yes, yes. So that, of course, always check the legal side of things. I'm a marketer, so I'm the opposite side of the ring. But I learned running a business that the legal side of things has to be first and foremost considered. Number two, then you jump into your financial goals. What are your financial goals? What is your vision for the company before really putting in a team altogether? Our strategy was yeah, for us. It's a business to business initially platform. So really knowing which market you're working with. For example, we have a couple of apps. Our learning app, for example, focuses only on training and development for companies, for adult learners. We don't want to go into the teaching kids, etc. That needs a complete different approach in terms of features, design, and user flows. But for other adult learners, this is where we are actually focusing. So going back to how I put this team together, number one is to just really keep talking about your vision because you're gonna attract people who are interested with that vision. And for me, Yeah, more than the skill sets, the most important part for me are two things: is do they believe in the vision of the company, and number two, can they work with me? I'm a complicated character, so I
You
and
are
yes,
so cool.
yes, yes. That's why I always wear plain to balance that character. But yeah, so do they believe in the vision? Can they handle working with me? And do they have the technical skill sets that can really put the product out there, that's going to be ready for the market to consume?
I like
So
that. So
talk. Yeah.
yeah, keep talking about your vision, right? Okay,
Mhm.
go ahead then.
Now, since we're talking about leadership and digital training, so do you really need to be a leader for you to do effective digital learning? And as a second part of a question, what are the skills that you need to have for you to provide effective learning? Because right here in the Philippines, it's a mixed bag. We have the millennials who knows all about technology, and we have the a little older people that need to do the digital learning. That's I'm not gonna say, I might get in trouble.
What are you talking about?
So like the technologically challenged in a sense. So
Who
how
are
do you
those
balance that? Yeah.
messing with you?
So yeah, so Paul, how do you balance that, to provide that digital learning and to provide that leadership across the screen, to
All
provide
right.
that?
I think first and foremost, for anything we do, we always need to have a leader somewhere there. That's the first point. The second point is not because you're good at doing something that you can be a trainer. It's a different skill sets. Okay,
Okay.
you can be a mentor if you're very good at it, but you can never coach. It doesn't mean necessarily that you can coach or you can teach. It's a skill. um, and then number three, to address that in terms of narrowing the gap, I think the best way to put it is really highlighting the three types of negotiation. I always teach this to my sales, the people that I mentor on the sales and marketing side of things. There are three types of negotiation. The first one is soft negotiation. Your end goal is to save a relationship. So you don't push hard. You're just like, okay, that's very nice po. Okay po, okay, ganyan. So your approach is very soft because your end goal is to save the relationship, right? The second type of negotiation is hard negotiation. This is when I come here to win. I'm in a court. So
Hard
here's my
sell.
case. Hard, yeah, it's a hard negotiation, right? But the third type of negotiation where it is powerful, and this is where we can bridge your tech savvy and young at hearts together. Is
Who are
it's,
you
it's, it's
fighting with? Are you the one, the young at heart?
I'm in between. I mean,
Randy. Maybe thinking he's the younger one in this, in this.
I
I'm in my
know.
I'm in my 30s. I'm in my 30s, so I'm not in the young
Me
side of things.
too.
Yeah.
But we're 30s when we maybe kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, so the third type of negotiation, I think, is the best way to approach this when bridging two generations and with different behaviors. It's really value driven negotiation. So you say, okay, the power of in-house training, the power of classroom setup is A, B, C, right? The power of digital training is A, B, C. And position those two, and how you can say, all right, what is the type of setup that we can actually harness both of the strengths of different platforms. I'll give you one very good example. Richard Branson, for example, he's a like this motivational speaker. So how does the biggest challenge was he can't do all this 1,000 packs stadium motivation talks. So what he did was he just really set up the camera in a way that his movements are still captured. He's standing, he's not sitting down. There are different panning. He has a person who basically shifts camera angle when he tickles his certain parts of his hand, and really transform that energy into the virtual space. So I guess going back to the question, it's really going into that value driven negotiation, so that we can first and foremost not offend anyone, because once you offend anyone, negotiation is done. right? Yeah. So focus on the value. Let's say, okay, with your approach, this is the good part. With this new trend, these are the good part. And look, we have the same goal to make learning effective, and to reach as many people as possible given the
Yeah,
circumstance that we have. So go back to that.
I like that. Yes.
Me too. I learned so much. So now I need to undergo a negotiation skills with you.
Next
Negotiation.
episode.
That's 101 by Paul. How do you negotiate? That's amazing, Paul. Yeah, earlier, I'm still interested about how you were able to grow into Southeast Asia. Like I said, you're in Vietnam right now. I want to grow across Southeast Asia and bring Leading with Success as a global brand as well. So, can you tell us more about that journey? You said it's more on the documentation side, the legal side, financial side.
Hmm.
Can you tell us more, especially about the culture?
Mm. All right. So approach first. So because we were a startup, right? So I capitalized on that. I capitalized on the story. I am a marketer. So as a brand, what's your story? We're a small startup built here in in Ho Chi Minh City. How are you going to capitalize on that story, and how do you want that story of the brand unfold? So for us, if you're operating as a tech startup, it's very trendy in the last 2 years to go into startup competitions, to just really
Oh,
be heard by the community. All right.
Mhm.
So we competed in Turkey. We competed in right. We reached Istanbul. We were
yeah,
chosen as the top startup in Asia to represent
right.
Asia, Korea, Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore. It's part of our storytelling approach, and by then we started attracting people who are like-minded, who believe in what we do. And then we got suddenly emails and contact and say, hey, why don't you come to Thailand for our program? So we're able to join a 6 months program in Thailand and build an office there.
Okay,
um, yeah.
Wow, nice.
So that's on a very operational
standpoint.
yeah, pain
Yeah.
point, right? In terms of adjustments, language is something that sometimes us Filipinos we take for granted because our English proficiency is very good. But really, when operating in countries where English proficiency is not that good, something that you should really consider. Having a local staff is very, very important.
Mhm.
I like that. I like that
Right?
strategy. Mm.
Yeah, and the number two is also the power of having a good representative in the country. Right? Not you don't have to be the face of the organization all the time. Know when is the time for you to be in front, and when is the time for you to put your partner to be there, and so on.
Love it.
So yeah,
Love
and yeah, I think it's really going back to how do you want your brand to unfold and convert that story into operational, financial, and business moves, so that you achieve eventually, your business objectives.
Okay. You're taking notes, Randy.
Yes, of course.
Oh,
And
yeah.
of course, work with
I'm
us
gonna
because
watch
we're
the
already
replay.
present in different, no, in different countries.
No,
um,
I love it. I love it. Um, so it kind of grew. So you're saying that you joined startup competitions. You were able to be across Southeast Asia, get to be known by the countries because you've joined these startup competitions. And in Thailand, you said you entered an incubation.
yes.
What was the incubation program or
Also,
what was the
so
name of it?
I'll give you a very good story. I think so. If people from the government in the Philippines is watching, please learn from what the Thai government is doing.
What?
2 years ago, they invited me to talk to Big Bang Thailand. It's basically organized by the Ministry of Information. And the initiative of Thailand is Industry 4.0, making Thailand the tech hub of Southeast Asia. So if you go back very quickly on the history of their government initiative, Industry 1.0, they said we want to be sustainable with our rice. Eventually, they become one of the biggest rice exporters in the world. Industry 2.0 for them was, you know what? Let's do our manufacturing in within the country. We don't have to import cars, etc. They have their own car brand in Thailand.
I know.
Yeah. The third is they said Industry 3.0, we want to be sustainable. We need to use our islands as a source of income. The Industry 3.0 is making Thailand a tourism hub. And eventually they become the most visited tourist destinations in the world. So they've always been very, very successful in these three initiatives. The fourth initiative 2 years ago was to convert them into Industry 4.0 to become the tech hub of Southeast Asia.
Wow.
So what they did was they told the biggest Thai conglomerates, part of this initiative, the private sector has to do their parts. You need to find the best startups in the region and bring them to Thailand.
I love that.
Yeah. So
I've been,
we're
yeah,
go,
I've
go
been,
ma'am.
yeah, I've been to True Digital Thailand, and it's amazing. It's like this,
Mm.
this whole, like, it's like Silicon Valley. We're building the Silicon Valley here. You can live here, you can play here, you can, as long as you create your startup here, and it's amazing. So
Yeah.
Google is there. So, but still, nothing beats Singapore when it comes to tech and startup. It's like
I
if
worked
you,
in Singapore.
right? And so it feels like if you create a company in Singapore or a startup and you fail and you're a Singaporean nationality, it's your fault already because all of the support has been given to
That's
you.
right.
There's financial, there's mentoring, there's the space, there's the government requirements are so easy. Why didn't you build it in Singapore, Paul?
Our
What?
main office is actually in Singapore, ma'am.
Ah,
Mm.
so
Nice.
it's really the hub. That's right. And then you move to Ho Chi Minh for the
Um,
office because
we branch out different offices because I have experience here working with HR directors. I have very good relationship with the HR directors of the biggest companies here,
here,
based on my job as a marketing director for the recruitment portal. So we
I love
capitalized on that.
that. Okay, so that's how. I probably have asked you this before in one of our discussions, and I still like asking that again because I would want to live in Vietnam. It's a dream ever since I've been there. It's like it feels like old Manila without the BPOs yet.
Mm.
Without right? Oh, but that's true. But now the skylines are going and the tourism is such a boom, and I love that they were able to contain COVID as fast as they can. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have 3 minutes left. I'd like to ask Randy if he has one final question for you, a follow-up question from Randy.
Yeah.
For
So maybe the final question, Paul. Right. So just to close, what can you tell the people who are hesitant to do digital learning, as well as in a sense leadership as well in this time of the pandemic in amidst of it? Because again, here in the Philippines, there are a lot of limitations. There, the connectivity, the equipment, etc. But what will you tell them for them to be encouraged to be, in a sense, to think of it as a positive way from a digital learning perspective?
All right. So I'd address. I always ask who's my audience. So let me talk to the practitioners. It's I know that we have operations in place, and it's okay to keep them because of convenience. But sometimes change is uncomfortable, but it doesn't mean that it's for worse. Sometimes it is for better. So keep an open mind. Right. That's first.
Like that.
For the government, it's a good job that there's finally a mandate to put this into place. But let's consider every stakeholder involved. There are different types of households out there. There are some tech savvy parents. There are non-tech savvy parents. So how are we going to address them? My parents are farmers from the Philippines. I grew up in a small island called Masbate. Please put them into consideration. Number two. Number three, and my last message to those who are viewing, to the leaders. I know the last couple of months was terrible,
Mhm.
but I want to remind all of you that you are amazing people. You opened opportunities to so many people, whether they thank you or they forget about you. Remember that you're opening opportunities. You've changed lives, and if you're watching this, you've survived it. You're gonna survive the next couple of months. Congratulations for making it this far. The next couple of months, it's just gonna get better. So keep going.
Yeah, I love that,
Yeah.
Paul. That is essentially a pep talk and a motivation talk for me because this is now my personal life update before we say goodbye. I am moving. I am moving homes. So I'm going back to Vico Soto by July 1. Yes, hi Vico Soto. Yes, hi there. And because of that, I may be off the air and off social media for a few weeks until I can fix, my home stuff arrangement. And I am leading live with the hosting skills of Randy Panganiban. So, Randy,
Woo!
as the main host of episode 4, are you ready to entice them who is our next guest who is very special as well for episode 4?
Who is it nga ba? I forgot. Wait, I'll check my notes.
Right now. But hi, Eric, if you're watching.
Eric. Yes,
You're
Eric.
ready,
That's
Eric, for
right.
episode 4. We have Eric Del Castillo as our special guest for episode 4. He is the HR head for Nissan for the Philippines, and we're very excited to talk about leadership with him. And with that, we now complete our 30-minute live show for Leading Live together with Paul Espinas, the founder of Up Up Up. We would like to thank our live stream sponsor. Wow, we now have a live stream sponsor for this episode, and our partner is Value Pod Productions.
Thank
So,
you, Value Pod.
thank you, Value Pod. Together with Paul, Randy, and me, I'm Bonnie. We're saying goodbye for now, and Randy will be back on July 4 as the main host of Leading Live before I come back again as the two of us co-hosting as soon as I get all my
Settled.
experiences. Yes, as soon as so they say in the comments, yay, go, Randy. And Ida says, great. All right. So Randy is now the main host for next week. And thank you again, Paul. Thank you,
Thank
everyone,
you,
for
Thank
Paul.
you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
everyone.
watching, everybody.
Yes, and who are watching on the replay, thank you, everyone. And we say, have a great, happy weekend.
Happy
Evan,
weekend.
Happy
thank you so
weekend,
much.
everybody.
So young and yet already full of wisdom. More power to you. All right. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Happy weekend.